All right, here we go. Another self-care activity. So I am really thrilled to bring to you Dr. Natalie Forrest with Natalie Forrest International. And what we're going to do is she's going to help you get centered and take a breath. And I probably said that backwards, but Natalie, it is all yours.
Well, thank you so much. And hello, everybody. Good morning, everybody. I'm excited to be here for the sole reason that this is an amazing group. And if you've missed Stephanie, if you've missed Tracy, go back and review that. That comes from me because I watched them. And I did a little bit of the exercise with Stephanie, but I already had my exercise. So this is something that I love to do with everybody. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. There are times during the day when we get a little stressed. So depending on where you are in the world, but with me, it's noontime, and I love doing it at noontime. But wherever you are, whether you're in business, in an office, there are times when you feel stressed, when you feel like you want to rip the computer out. So in those moments, we need to take a breath. And when we take a breath, we reconnect with ourselves. That means you have to know who you are. You have to love yourself, like yourself, all of those things. So for right now, when you're thinking about, I'm a little stressed, I'm not stressed, I don't care, because right now I want you to focus inwards. And I brought a couple of things that I'll share with you as well. But when we focus inwards, I'm going to take a couple of steps back here. Okay. When we focus inwards, you can do that while you're sitting at your desk, but I do recommend for grounding yourselves to actually walk. Okay. So first thing I invite you to do, and some of you have seen me do this before, is put your hands on your heart, close your eyes, and just take a deep breath in. And then you hold it. And when you release it, I want you to shake out your arms and everything that you got. It might look a little silly, but that helps release some of the tension. And then you might want to do it again. Now, when you do it the third time, when you're taking that breath in, and holding it, say something nice and loving to yourself about this day. Something simple like, I'm awesome. And then let your hands go slowly. Okay. Now, some of you may feel a little dizzy right now. That's okay. Don't worry about it. When you're doing that, and this is why I'm stepping back a little bit and you can't completely see all of what I'm doing. There is also this exercise that goes hand in hand with it that I recommend at the same time that you're taking a breath. Right now, you cleared yourself a little bit. However, you also want to know exactly what is going on. Why do I feel this stress? Why do I feel this pressure? Now, some of you have heard of this posture. It's called the tree posture in yoga. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate, and you will not see my arms and you will only see parts of my leg. Okay, so what you do is you stand on one leg, you hold the other leg up as high as you can, about here, and then you put your hands up like this. Your hands should be together right over your head. And when you stand like this, like right now, I'm actually surprisingly doing well. When you do this, you figure out what is going on. And I'll explain that in a moment. Then you go back down, and now you do the other side. And again, you can do that in the bathroom stall at work if you're worried about somebody looking at you weird. And then you do it on this side as well. And you breathe in and out while you're doing it. Now, this is an important exercise that I do every morning and every evening. It's grounding, and I do it in between. If you wobble on one of your legs, don't worry about it on the one hand, because it's normal. The yoga posture is not something that you can practice and perfect. This posture, especially after you release some of that negative atmosphere and breath, will help you figure out, where am I being slanted to? We have the right side and the left side. The right side is usually related more to logistics, analysis, things of that nature. The left side is usually more related to emotions and those types of things. You probably have heard of right side and left side of the brain. So there will be days when you're standing like this and you're not sure what's going on because you really thought you're feeling well. In those moments, you then need to acknowledge what is happening. You need to acknowledge and say, okay, something is happening. What am I overthinking, or where have I not addressed my emotions? Now, at work, you cannot necessarily run around screaming in order to get your emotions out. However, you can identify it, and maybe you have a little sheet like this where you can write it down on. And Tracy mentioned something similar. So if you write down what is bothering you right now, it gets out of your head, it gets out of your system onto a piece of paper. Once you've written that down, you do something very, very simple. You tear it up. You tear it up and you throw it out. If you can, throw it into a trash can, a recycled trash can, of course, that is not near where you're getting that feeling. That releases it a little bit. All the time, you want to have your feet on the ground. The other thing that I highly recommend doing is before you go into a meeting, take that breath. The breath is all about you calming yourself down. It's called the breath of life for a reason. When we start focusing inwards with first releasing all of the negativity, then doing the yoga posture and figuring out, am I stable? Am I not stable? Then we go back to addressing the issue by writing down what is bothering me, if you can identify it, and then by, again, focusing inward. All of this is only going to take you maybe 5-10 minutes. Again, you can do it at your desk, you can do it in the bathroom, you can do it in the hallway. It would be best if you did it outside. When you go back, you're just going to close your eyes and breathe. And all you're going to do is not worrying about how deep the breath is, because you're not at the doctor's. You're not going to worry about how shallow the breath is. You're not trying to control your breath. You're going to just be one with your breath. And with your feet on the ground, with your hands on your heart, or one hand on your heart and one hand on your solar plexus chakra, you just start breathing and realizing that the breath of life is really all that matters. Everything outside of the breath of life and you is outer circumstance that most likely you cannot change anyhow. So the breath of life helps us focus inward, helps us realize this is me, and if I'm at peace, then I can better deal with my boss. I can better deal with the fact that my child has a question. I can better deal with the fact that I forgot to pay a bill. In those moments, it's not about preventing thoughts from coming. It is about just focusing on the breath, which will calm you down, which will help you identify where the stress comes from, whether it's emotional or something else. And it will simply help you be grounded and calm. And when you're at that calm level, you're much more able to perform at your highest level, to smile, and that smile then will, of course, affect your whole body. I want to add one other thing to it, and it relates sort of to Tracy as well. I always wear my beads, okay? Now, beads have a long tradition in history. I'm a historian by trade. And so whether you use rosary beads or other beads, you can actually put them in your hand and roll them a little bit, if you can see what I'm doing here, and just hold on to them. If you've got essential oils on there, even better. That can also calm you down. When you do that, in addition to breathing, focusing on your breath, you will be able to say nice things to yourself. It's important that you say nice things to yourself. I'm calm, I'm quiet, I'm awesome, I'm amazing. And if you say that to yourself, you will also help with the inner peace and calm. I love doing those things in meetings that get really boring, just as a heads up. Okay. You don't have to close your eyes to calm yourself down. And that's the last tip I'm going to give you. You can sit in a meeting, do your beats or not, put your hands on your tummy because you're sitting down anyhow, nobody sees your hands, and you just focus on your breath. And when you do that, you connect with yourself. And the best peace, calm, and quiet resides in you loving and accepting yourself. So that's what I mean when I talk about taking a breath and grounding yourself. The last thing I want to point out, if you are able, wherever you are, to do everything I just mentioned outside, that will actually speed up the process. Nature has an ability to allow us to have all of those emotions and have all of those vibrations be taken away from us. There are lots of studies about that. And of course, whether it's essential oils, whether it is the water, whether it is the forest, even if in your particular area there's only one tree or one little grassy area, put your feet on the grass and do it there. That will speed up the process of calming yourself down and grounding yourself so that you will end up having a much better day. And that's my advice for today.